So after last week's episode kind of ended, one of the things that I was talking about during last week's episode, which was episode number 19, I believe, one of the things I was talking about was the Princess of Amidonia, right? Rorora, I like her name, Rorora. It's a very hard name to say, but regardless, I'll just call her Princess R. So last week's episode was, regarding Princess R, she was coming up with like a scheme, and my first kind of thought that I kind of presented to you guys was like, yeah, I think that her goal is to go in and marry Souma, like because she has really taken aback to all the things that he's done so far, and she's kind of always looked to him in like a certain light, and the moves that she thought that he might and maybe will make, not only did he do them, but he kind of exceeded those expectations, and even took it one more piece on the chessboard that she kind of didn't even see. So from all of those factors, she has kind of looked to him already kind of like on this pedestal. So with her kind of coming in this week and redoing something that Souma picked up on really quick, which was the whole like, hey, this wool kind of feels like carpet. He's like, I remember reading a story from history back in my world that a beautiful Bishoujo girl popped out of these carpets, and he's like, is there a girl in here, bro? And sure enough, she ends up popping out of there, and she ends up presenting like, hey, I'm here to marry you, Souma. And the reason I even felt even more about this setup was I think 3 weeks ago, like maybe like episode 17 or 18, it might have been 18 or no 17, I think it was, when Souma had married Aisha and Lisha, and when he was kind of going through those engagements, Lisha had brought up like, hey, this isn't the first time he's going to have to marry. Like, he's going to have to marry princesses and certain things, from other nations to kind of be these moving pieces like this, these moving pieces in his governmental kind of moves that he's going to be making. He's like, we're going to see a lot of these other things. The key thing here is us, them, the ladies behind the scenes, being able to accept who's being brought into this, which I think, there's going to be a part of Princess R here who's going to have to go and meet with Lisha and Aisha and make sure that they're on board as well. So I really enjoyed kind of seeing kind of that those theories I had kind of come to fruition, because I was like, yep, that's exactly what I thought. And a couple of factors in there too is I think unless he's aged more, Souma at this point is about 20, maybe 21 now, because I feel like he's been here for about a year. So he's probably about 20, 21 years old. And Princess R at this point, we don't know her exact age. She looks sub 17, somewhere between the ages of 14 and 18, somewhere around there. Because she is definitely on the smaller side. And I don't mean, endowed wise, just, in general, she's a smaller girl. So she's somewhere in between those ages. So he's going to have to come to grips and terms with marrying somebody or being engaged to someone who is younger, which again is acceptable in this time, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, not kind of acceptable in current states and stuff, in his current world. So he's gonna have to kind of come to grips with that. But the rest of the episode I thought was really good as well. But that was kind of like the highlight for me, is like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Because I definitely like her quite a bit too, especially the scenes that they've shown her in kind of during the past, with what happened with her dad, what happened with her brother, with guessing what was going to happen to her brother kind of moving forward. All those things that she kind of saw play out did definitely come play out. And then now with the Amidonia turning their allegiance over to Souma like 100%, the people of Amidonia have spoken, the representatives of those people have spoken. They've all turned their leaf over to the 𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐷𝐻 Kingdom, denouncing their their dominion or whatever over the prior prince. They're like, yo, we don't want anything to do with Prince Julius anymore. And that goes for all the nobles, all the royals, all the generals. Everybody's like, nah, we don't want this, fam. So they all turned their leaf over to the 𝐿𝐻𝐷𝐻 Kingdom. And I thought that was all really interesting, the way that played out. Again, in Souma's words, a little too easy. And one of the things that I really want to know as we jump in and we move, as we kind of move forward into the next episode / episodes, is I definitely want to know more about the behind the scenes person that has been affecting it that, Souma has definitely caught on to. And he keeps referencing, like, hey, is this somebody pushing us in this direction? Is this why it's working out so well? And I have a feeling that the behind the scenes people is the prior king and queen, which is Leisha's mom and dad. I have a feeling it's them, but I have a feeling they have strong ties and friends in higher places, in other places of other kingdoms, which could have been in Amidonia. I think the new neighboring countries that they're gonna have, the ice one and the one that has the moon lady church. I think that they have ties there as well as the empire. So I know that those other surrounding countries are going to come into play at some point as well, which is going to be very, very interesting to see. The other piece of the episode is the first half, which is Genia and her taking up the dragon bones and her basically making a Godzilla dragon, and Souma being able to use his dark magic, his poltergeist magic on that and make it move. I think that's going to come into play in some kind of war in the future. Seeing this big ass mechanical dragon, it's going to be, even if it does nothing, it's going to be terrifying for people. So I think that's going to be very interesting as well. But overall, another fantastic episode of How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. You now have Lou and Genia officially a thing. He's giving Genia a lab and 90% budget. 10% of what she needs to be provided by her, because that's going to control her spending and that will control her experiments not going too far, which Souma talked about in the episode as well. And then obviously we have what the stuff behind the scenes, and now we have this new person in the mix who's going to be trying to marry Souma, which is going to be what he has to do to have a full takeover of Amidonia. It's like, hey, not only am I taking over Amidonia, I'm marrying the princess of Amidonia as well. I'm taking her in to be a ruler, a partner of Amidonia. So he's going to have to do it whether he wants to or not, which I think is going to be great to see. All right, I'm going to leave you guys off on those thoughts there. Let me know what you guys thought about this most recent episode of How Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. I will see you guys next week for episode number 21, I think it is. 21, yeah. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 21. And as always, thank you guys for being here another week. See you next week.